Gauravaktavindam. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Welcome all of you. And today also Prabhuji Balram Shakti Prabhu cannot take, so we'll continue with Prabhupada purport discussion. And today we'll hear very interesting conversation because all actions are based on our ego and how this ego is the and based on that what is the proper ego on which our action should be based upon, because Jada he did not perform any of his duties. Why he did not do? Because he was not identifying with the body. If we identify with our body, then we have to do duties connected to the body. If you don't identify only, where is the question of doing them? So it's all based on our ego with what we are identifying, right? So here we see that uh, the this nice questions that are asked by King Rahugana, which are very easy, then that will make us to understand how the action should be performed. So here one more interesting thing that happened here is between that King Jadabharat is telling that okay, whatever you have told about me, there some are right and some are also right in the sense this is the words that are spoken by a person who is ignorant. So ignorant people will speak the way you are speaking, so that is right only. And other things which you told about me is also right because I am not this body, I am not fat, I am not tired, I am not this, I am not that. That is also true. So this is the difference. So here Prabhupada is writing also same thing in the, and another major difference Prabhupada notes is that King Rahugana got affected even with a small discrepancies. Whereas Jadabharata, he was completely unaffected. Even if it is coming to the level of his death, somebody was trying to kill him, still he was not affected. But whereas King Rahugana, even little bit of palanquin disturbance also is getting affected. That means it is he was completely situated in mode of course, some Sataguna is also there and passion is there. That's why he's getting affected. Whereas Jada Bharata was not getting affected because he was completely differently situated. So that is the difference between a Brahmana and a Kshatriya. So we have discussed why the Brahmanas are given more value because not only with knowledge, internally they have that stability. So internally they are very strong. Kshatriyas are strong externally. They also have internal strength, but compared to Brahmana, it is less. That's why Brahmanas are given more value. In the Vedic culture, subtle things are more valued than a very gross level. And now Kali Yuga, it is exactly opposite. People value gross things more. Of course, now also people have some subtle values, but mostly it is very gross. So that is the difference. So here Prabhupada was telling the same thing that you know and O Maharaj Parikshit, when King Rahugana chastised the exalted devotee Jadabharat with harsh words, that peaceful saintly person tolerated it all and replied properly. Nescience is due to the bodily conception, and Jadabharat was not affected by this false conception. Out of his natural humility, he never considered himself a great devotee and agreed to suffer the results of his past karma like an ordinary man. He thought that by carrying the palanquin, he will destroy the reactions of his past misdeeds. Thinking in that, he began to carry the palanquin as before. So, he did not get affected, and that was from the beginning only. So for a devotee, this Tattena Kampa always is the guiding force. He says, okay, whatever happens, because he's not affected by good or bad. He's interested in relation with Krishna. So this is also we have discussed many times that uh, if a mother has a small child and the child is so she gives pleasure also and pain also, but for mother it is not important. For her the care for the child is important. Suddenly at 2 o'clock in the night she wakes up, starts crying, mother feeds, So it's so much distress. You cannot sleep, and daytime she's sleeping, and mother has to work. And then sometimes the child gives some pleasure. She laughs and try to take shelter of mother. So mother feels very happy. She gets full attention. And other times she gets distress also. But both are actually for mother, pain and pleasure, both are okay. But for her, more important is that relation and that love she has for the child. It goes for first few months and some maybe for few months the mother gets that type of higher level of pleasure. Why? It is not about pain or pleasure. It is about relationship and love. Same thing with a devotee. For a devotee, it is not a question of pleasure or pain. Serving the Lord is a relationship and love. So he is happy. That's how it works. So Tatyan combines like, okay, I don't mind whatever happens, but I'm interested in Lord. And whatever Lord wants, Aslishtva Padartam Vinashtumam Adarshana Marmahatam Karotuva Yatha Tatava Vedadadulam Pato Mat Prananatastu Sayeva Naparaha. So this is actually the mood. Sukadeva Goswami continued, a west of the Pandu dynasty, Maharaj Parikshit. The king of the Sindhu and Sauvira state, Maharaj Ravguna, had great faith in the discussion of the absolute truth. Being thus qualified, he heard from Jadbharata the philosophical presentation which is approved by all scriptures on the mystic yoga process and which slackens the knot in the heart. His material conception of himself as a king was thus destroyed. He immediately descended from his palanquin and fell flat on the ground with his head at the lotus feet of Jadabharata in such a way that he might be excused for his insulting words against the great Brahmana. He then prayed as follows. So this is actually what uh, Jadabharat he could understand. This I did a sorry. King Rahugana immediately understood that this person what is speaking is something very high. Even he could not realize that much. He understood is a very realized soul, and this knowledge should be received through disciplic suction. Prabhupada's writing. Formally, they could understand the philosophy of life and knew how to train the citizens to come to the same stand. In other words, they knew how to deliver the citizens from the entanglement of birth and death. When Maharaj Dasharatha ruled Ayodhya, the great sage Vishwamitra once came to take away Lord Rama and Lakshmana to the forest to kill a demon. So Ramnavami is coming. So this is about little Ram story. When the saintly person Vishwamitra came to the court of Maharaj Daratha, in order to receive the saintly king, the saintly person asked him, Ahimsatam yattat punar janma jayaya. He asked the sage whether everything was going on well in his endeavor to conquer the repetition of birth and death. The whole process of Vedic civilization is based on this point. We must know how to conquer the repetition of birth and death. Maharaj Rahugana also knew the purpose of life. Therefore, when Jadabharata put the philosophy of life before him, he immediately appreciated it. This is the foundation of Vedic society. Learned scholars, brahmanas, saintly persons, and sages who are fully aware of the Vedic purpose advise the royal order how to benefit the general masses, and by their cooperation, the general masses are benefited. Therefore, everything was successful. Maharaj Rahugana attained this perfection of understanding of value of human life. Therefore, he regretted his insulting words to Jadabharata and immediately descended from a palanquin and fell down at the lotus feet of Jadabharata. So, at the present moment, high government officials are ignorant of values of life. When saintly persons endeavor to broadcast Vedic knowledge, the so-called executives do not offer their respectful obeisances, but try to obstruct the spiritual propaganda. So that is the present state. We cannot even imagine only uh, where the world is going and how dark direction the world is going. कस्तं निगूढश्चरिषि द्विजानां बिभ्रेर्षि सूत्रं कतमो विधा अवधूतः कस्यासि कुत्रस्य इहापि कस्मात् क्षेमाय नश्चेद् असिनोत्सुक्लः. He says, King Rahugada said, O Brahmana, you appear to be moving in this world very much covered and unknown to others. Who are you? Are you a learned Brahmana and saintly person? I see that you are wearing a sacred thread. Are you one of those exalted liberated saints such as Dattatreya or other highly advanced learned scholars? May I know whose disciple you are? Where do you live? What do you, why do you come to this place? Is your mission in coming here to do good for us? Please let me know who you are. So he is falling at his feet and trying to know how this is a very great saintly person. Previously, there was no uh, uh, social media and all. You cannot know the person by face. You can recognize because the face is everywhere in the social media. But that time it is not like that. Unless they introduce themselves, you cannot recognize them. Some people are recognized by their the description only they used to give so beautifully that when the person come in front of them, immediately they can recognize. Say great sages, Vasishta and Vishwamitra or anybody, they are described so nicely that whenever they go to another place, seeing them, people recognize, yes, yes, this is the person who is coming. This is how he looks. So people had such great memory in terms of remembering, not by face, but the description of the personality. So Maharaj Rahugada was very anxious to receive further enlightenment in Vedic knowledge because he could understand that Jadabharat belonged to Brahmana family either by disciplic succession or by birth in a Brahmana dynasty. Tat Vijnanartam Sahagurum Evadi Gachet. So Rahugada was accepting Jadabharat as a guru, but a guru must prove his position not by wearing a sacred thread but by advancing knowledge in spiritual life. It is also significant that Rahugana asked Jadabharat which family belonged to. There are two types of family. One according to dynasty, other according to disciplic succession. In either way, one can be enlightened. The word Shukla refers to a person mode of goodness. If one wants to receive spiritual knowledge, he must approach a bona fide Brahmana guru, either in disciplic section or in family of learned Brahmanas. नाहं विशङ्के सुरराजवर्यान् नत्र यक्षशूलान् न यमपाशबण्डं नाङ्ग अर्क सोमानिल वित्तपाष्ट्रा चङ्के भृष्म ब्रह्मकुलावमानात्. My dear son, my dear sir, I am not at all afraid of the thunderbolt of Indra, nor am afraid of the serpentine piercing trident of Lord Shiva. I do not care about the punishment of Yamaraj, the superintendent of death, nor am I afraid of fire, scorching sun, moon, wind, nor the weapons of Kuvera. Yet I am afraid of offending a Brahmana. I am very much afraid of this. So why he is talking like this? What is the difference? Here Shiva is putting a Trishul, Indra is putting thunderbolt, Yamaraj is having his own punishing rod, and fire, scorching fire, moon, wind, weapons of Kuvera. And then he's telling but Brahmana. See here the difference is this is gross and this is subtle. That's why there is a difference. So here we'll hear from Prabhupada and then we discuss. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was instruction Rupa Goswami with Dasashmedha Ghat in Prayag, he pointed out very clearly that the seriousness of offending a Vaishnava. He compared Vaishnava Prada to Hathi Mata, a mad elephant. When a mad elephant enters a garden, it spoils all the fruits and flowers. Similarly, if an offends a Vaishnava, he spoils all his spiritual assets. Offending a Brahmana is very dangerous, and this was known to Maharaj Rahugada. He therefore frankly admitted his fault. There are many dangerous things: thunderbolts, fire, Yamara's punishment, the punishment of Lord Shiva, and so forth. But none is considered as serious as offending a Brahmana like Jadaparatha. Therefore, Maharaj Ravagada immediately descended from a palanquin and fell before the lotus feet of the Brahmana Jadaparatha just to be excused. So, this is a very important discussion. We'll see if we will try to focus on this because I don't want to rush here. We'll try to see how it works. Uh, we have to know what is the dangers of Vaishnava Aparat. So first we should know what is the who is a Vaishnava, and then we will understand why Krishna takes it so seriously, Vaishnava Aparat. So uh, this. So there are psychological effects of these offenses. We should know it is not just some offenses because we behaved in particular way. No, it has a very great psychological effect. We'll try to understand that one. I'm just I'll try to share some notes because we have come to this point, so it is relevant to try to just trying to search the notes. So here, very important understanding. So just give me a few seconds. I will just wanted to share some very valuable notes. So first thing is to understand that God is a person. So this is the fundamental position of our philosophy. And when we understand He's a person, we are creating, we are created in image and likeness, and not only the image, this is our external form resembling God, but we have its likeness, that is the internal image also. That means he is a personality, and we can understand this because we understand that we are also personalities. That is the main thing. Lord is a person, he and we are also person. That's why we are understanding. Now, if why we have to discuss all these things? Because bhakti goes in a personal level, and if we are offending Vaishnavas, it is very personal to Lord. We'll understand that. If that means I like something and I don't like something, we all have this I like and I don't like. If God is also person, that means he also have likings and dislikings. If he is impersonal Brahman, there would be nothing like liking and what he did and what. But when it comes to Lord, the living with a impersonal Brahman is much easier than living with a person. Because to live with some person who likes something and who does not like something means to adopt according to that person, trying to change our consciousness, avoid what he does not like, and do only what he likes. You are understanding the difference? We have to live according to the person who have all these likings and dislikings. Now, important thing is he will not adjust. We have to adjust. That is the important point. The adjustment is done from the Lord's point. He will say, why? Because everybody knows this. Who lived close to another person knows that the main difficulty is that I like something, but he does not like it, and I have to step on. Uh, and the other person, and no, I want to sing, but he want to sleep, and I want to sleep, he want to sing. So this is actually what happens in ashram. So the relationship means that if I want to build a deep relationship, bringing very deep internal satisfaction of relationship with anyone, I must know very well what this person likes and what he does not like. If I want this relationship not to be destroyed, so that the now I should avoid the offenses, does not undermine this relationship. That's the reason we should be very careful with Vaishnavas. I must carefully avoid what he does not like, because each time I will invest in this piggy bank that will cause distrust, that destroys the relationship. That means distress. So when there is a relationship, people trust each other, people are open to each other. But when relationship is destroyed, the distress settles in the heart, and it is actually what is problem. This exactly the same dynamics exists between living entity and Supreme Lord. God is a person and we are all personalities. So I will just uh, I will just add notes to this our notes. This is the first point we all have to remember. God is a person. Yes. So we are all created in God's image. Living with a person have to adopt change and avoid what displeases. So this is a difficulty. So the next point is adopting to God. So adopting to God, the core demand. In any relationship, someone must adopt. In our relation with God, it is obviously we who must adopt to Him, not the other way around, right? I must understand what God likes and what He does not like and act accordingly. This is the meaning of all sacred scriptures, to teach a person to act in a way that satisfies God. Now, what is the definition of bhakti now? This is also we all know. Anyabhilashita shunya, right? So this is, and most important thing is, important aspect of this is that anukulyena Krishna anushilam. That is what is bhakti. That means I have to do what is pleasing Krishna all the time. So anukulyena, doing what is favorable and pleasing to Krishna. That is where we are all devotees. That is, then only we can say yes, yes, devotee. Now, what is the changing consciousness? That is our goal. Now I'm not able to please Krishna because my consciousness is not so much evolved. It is so sankuchita. It is very less consciousness. That's the reason we are only thinking about ourselves, not a pleasure of Krishna. But here the goal is to change our consciousness. Now the problem with our current consciousness, that is we will discuss. So here why it is all connected to Vaishnava Prad, because we have to do what Krishna wants. That's why we are having all this discussion. Ultimately, we want to please Krishna. So here now what is the problem with our consciousness? Our present consciousness has brought us only birth, death, old age, disease, suffering, and endless wandering in samsara. So everyone in this world seeks happiness. So Sukhaya karmani karoti loko. We just discussed this, right? So this is what actually Vidra is asking. Maitreya in the third canto. Sukhaya karmani karoti loka. Everybody is trying to be happy, but somehow they are working very hard, but it does not come only. But the true is lasting happiness is not found, right? So people are easily thrown off balance by the smallest event. Like uh, somebody is in the temple, he did not look at us properly. Then immediately we get offended. How did he behave? Why did he look like that? Why did he? What does he mean by looking in this way? Why this Mataji is looking in this way? And immediately our heart is, our mind starts thinking and getting distracted, disturbed. So all these things happening. So they constantly seek someone to blame for their misfortune, either government or a brother or somebody else. Because of them, my life is like this. Because of them, my life is like this. So, instance definition of insanity is try. He says that trying to solve a problem at a same level of consciousness that created it, the whole world is doing it. So, unless we elevate our consciousness, we cannot come out of that problem. So that is the way to come out of the problem. So the problem, current consciousness is this one. We have, one is we are disturbed by small things, and second is we constantly blame the situations and whatever is happening. So we don't take responsibility and we get affected by the situation. So that is the present state of consciousness, right? Now, what is Krishna consciousness then? So Prabhupada started this Krishna conscious movement. So what does Prabhupada want exactly? So here, not merely awareness of Krishna, but literally gaining the consciousness of Krishna. So this is a very important difference. We all are knowing that Krishna exists. Knowing Krishna exists is also conscious, but that is not what is expected. We need to be conscious, means we need to be knowing what he likes. That type of consciousness is needed. The path, our consciousness must become Krishna consciousness. So that is not Mayavadi, like becoming one with Krishna. We remain tiny conditions, but the highest idea is complete love. where the distinction between lover and beloved dissolves. Like again, the example is given. Mother is conscious of the child exists. But for mother conscious of the child means she always thinking of what she likes, what she want to wear, what she want to, when she want to sleep, when she want to play. So mother is always conscious of the pleasure of the child. Similarly, for us to be conscious of Krishna means we should always be conscious about the pleasure of Krishna. What Gaurang Mahaprabhu likes, what no, Radha Govind or whatever Sham Sundar or Giriraj, what they like, what Jagannath likes, what. So you are always thinking about what they are liking. So that type of consciousness is expected. Initially, we are told, okay, God exists, that is okay. But as we grow, we have to grow in our understanding also. We have to improve our state of consciousness. So now the thing is, now when it comes to bhakti, devotees, why it is so special about devotees? So now we have understood two points till now here. One is that uh, Lord is a person. Second is we want to please that person. So these are the two things most important we have understood till now. Now why Vaishnava Aparad is so dangerous? So that is our point of discussion now. So till now it is clear for you. A very simple concept. Now we have to come to the next concept. What is bhakti? Who are devotees there? Why Lord is so serious about them? So just a second. So love as unity. So here comes Srimati Radharani in picture. Srimati Radharani is Alankara Kaustuba. Says those who say I belong to you and you belong to me do not yet understand love, because in true love there is no you and me, there is only unity. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu embodied this. He is Krishna emerged with the mood of Radharani. This is what is Swarup Damodar says. They have merged again. Tattvamasi. You are that. Upanishad says. So Jiva Goswami explains this literally describing the state of perfect love where the line between the lover and beloved is erased. The spiritual world, Golok Vrindavan, is where love, beauty, mercy regain, and all living beings are absorbed in endless love. So they all are at a one state of consciousness. Now, spiritual world is what we are want to go. So in the spiritual world, this distinction is not there. Now, the spiritual is not a geographical destination. It's a state of consciousness. We all want to go there. That means we have to develop that consciousness. And what abstracts us from that consciousness is offenses. That's why we are discussing all these things. See, offenses is not just external things. That's the reason Rahugana is telling, I am not afraid of Yama Pasha, Trishula of Shiva, or no, all this fire, this, that. I am not afraid of Indra's thunderbolt, but I am afraid of Vaishnava Aparad. Why? Because it is affecting the consciousness. Why you are so serious about consciousness? Because consciousness is what will take me to spiritual world, right? The spiritual world is not a geographical destination, it's a state of consciousness. So if I offend Vaishnavas, then my consciousness is getting degraded. The holy dham Vrindavan is not a replica of spiritual world, it is the spiritual world manifested on it. It is not a replica, it is directly spiritual world. The holy name is indistinguishable from Krishna. Srimad Bhagavatam is indistinguishable from Krishna. So when we are chanting, when you are doing deity worship, and when we chant, you understand the the holy name which I am chanting. That holy name only I am offering bhoga. That holy name only I am doing dressing. That holy name only I am singing for them. So the holy name is not different from Krishna. So when we are serving deity, we understand this is actually what I chanted. The holy name only I am doing. So you see the holy name in the form of Lord. The deity is non-different from Krishna and holy name is non-different from Krishna. So when I chant, whom am I chanting? The deity whom I am worshipping. So who am I offering? I'm offering the holy name only. I'm offering bhoga. I'm offering. I'm doing dressing for the holy name only because there is no difference. It's like that, indistinguishable. And same thing with Bhagavatam. When I'm reading the holy name, Bhagavatam and Krishna, they're all same. Why can't we perceive this? Because our consciousness is material. With Krishna consciousness, one sees Golok Vrindavan right here and now. You are understanding? So now I see deity difference, Krishna is different, holy name is different, Bhagavatam is different. All are different for me. The holy dham is different. But when we come to higher level, then we can see, oh, it's all same. Holy name is Krishna, the deity is Krishna, Bhagavatam is Krishna, and I am dressing holy name only, like that. A person gets that level of consciousness. Till now it is clear. Now we'll start with a different subject now. That is faith. So now how to develop this consciousness? So the path begins with faith. So the journey of Krishna consciousness begins with Shraddha, faith, reverence. So Sanskrit Shraddha means both faith and reverence. When faith arises, reverence arises. When the reverence leaves, faith also gone too. So the path is Shraddha to spiritual teacher, the holy scriptures, pure bhakti, then we get this Krishna consciousness. So first it is we get Shraddha on the spiritual master. And spiritual master helps us to develop faith on the Shastras. On Shastras we understand pure bhakti and then we develop our Krishna consciousness. So this is how the path begins. And now what is the role of teacher? Here Jadabharat is Rahugana is worshipping. So this is a very important role here. We take a spiritual teacher for one reason only, because he repeats the words of Shastra and try to live by them. He is living embodiment of scripture. Guru Mukha Padmavakya Chitte Te Koryakya. Let my consciousness merge with the words from the lotus lips of the spiritual teacher. This means let my faith in scriptures becomes absolute. Worshipping a guru without this spiritual connection is a form of idolatry. So we have to see the connection, how what guru is doing for me. So this is all for helping us to develop that consciousness. So there are other things also. Anyways, there are other points also, but I'll tell because if we are developing this topic, we'll do it. So we are not in hurry of time. We'll learn some nice things. See, faith versus fanatism. Faith is not blind dogmatism. It's the key distinction. Bhakti acts independently of faith. Like fire, it burns whether you believe it or not. So faith is needed not to begin bhakti, but to practice pure bhakti. You all know this, which alone gives full results. So to practice bhakti, you don't need faith, but for Shuddha bhakti, we need faith. Faith acts like a magnifying glass. It contrasts consciousness on one goal, sorry, it concentrates consciousness on one goal, preventing the mind from wandering. So that is the all success is how much I am able to focus my mind. That's where the success is. Whether you have done your duties, etavan sankhya yogabhyam swadharma parinishthaya janmalabha parapupsa. When you have done all your duties properly, the result is you are able to concentrate your consciousness on Krishna. Without faith, person will always look around and he will think maybe I should try some other hatha yoga, meditation, this, that. Maybe some other different gurus here in Vrindavan. Many ISKCON devotees go here, there and try different gurus. So faith prevents this constant distraction. So we are travel here, there, we try to do many things. That is why, because he does not have faith. His concentration is not there on one particular thing. First thing is we should know what is right and then focus. Once you focus, otherwise there are devotees who feel okay, maybe I should learn some Sanskrit now, I should learn Dharma now, I should learn this, I should learn that. So many directions they go. They don't understand some simple things. Why? Because that is lack of faith. This is the challenge everybody has now. And who is the enemy for that? The ego, which is the next topic of our discussion. That a single great obstacle to faith is the ego. Faith in Shastra means accepting its words unconditionally, not picking and choosing what I like. Ego insists on remaining the judge. This is the most important point. When why some questions come is because of ego only. I like this, I don't like this. This is right, this is wrong. So now when something challenges us, then we start challenging them. We start judging. Oh, Bhagavatam, this, what is this? When faith first awakens in new devotee, the ego briefly is stunned. So it does not affect. That time they are very, very submissive, they are very enthusiastic and everything. Because that time ego is not coming in picture. But as soon as we become big, we become senior, then it revives and begins to find faults with devotees, with prasadam, with scriptures, with the path itself, with the guru, and sometimes with Krishna also. So this is because the problem of ego. Initially, it is not there. That's why we don't do any offenses in the beginning. But as we become senior, offenses starts coming. Why? Because our ego is start reviving, which is stunned in the initial stage. It is start reviving now. That's actually what is happening, and that's the reason we are committing offenses. And now the Jiva Goswami tries to erode faith in Bhakti Sandarbha. So this is a very important section. How does it different from ordinary fanatical scriptural declaration? That if you see Bhakti Sandarbha looks like some fanatical literature where if you are told if you don't believe in this Lord you will go to hell and you burn for eternity. And Bhakti Sandarbha also looks like that. It is also saying that, okay, if you are not devotee, this is apara, this is what will happen. So, what is the difference in when Jiva Goswami is telling if you offend Vaishnavas, this will happen? And what is the difference the when other people say if you don't believe in this Lord, then you will suffer in hell. So there should be difference. So we will try to understand the difference. That is the most important thing because Vaishnava Prad, if you do, you are going to hell. So no, when Jiva Goswami is telling, uh, there is a deeper logic beneath the scriptural statements. So there is a logic behind what Jiva Goswami is telling about Vaishnava Prad and what people fanatically preach that if you don't believe, you go to hell. So we have to know the difference. It is not a fanatical statement. Now you are gone. So now Jiva Goswami in Bhakti Sandhara describes, he is telling astonishing results of even the slightest contact with bhakti. So the ego will immediately say, oh, this can't be true. Try to set that aside. So this is where the problem comes. Now I'm going to say some statements, and you see, immediately we don't believe them, even though they are there in the scriptures. So we try to see what it is. The first statement, it says that even a slight so I'll write this for you. So now who is creating the problem, we'll see. Ego is our enemy. Now you see, we'll all have this enemy now. Sakrit, once a single genuine contact with any manifestation of bhakti can bring liberation. Really? Our ego immediately asks this question. So then he says that, and the reference is from the Shastra he gives. What he gives? That 1.1.14. So I will just. Now, we cannot believe so easily. This is one entangled in the terrible forest of samsara. Whoever involuntarily pronounces the holy name Krishna, Hari is immediately sadhyo released. Death itself is afraid of the holy name. Yet vibheti swayam bhayam. So now, why we don't believe? Who is not believing? Ego is not believing. You're understanding? So our nice enemy is there with us only, our ego. And now we'll see some other statements which our ego don't believe. So, and this is another thing. Of course, this is proving for the first point only. The sun takes ayur harati vaipumsam udhyannastam channaso yatatse kshano nita uttama shloka. Except one who spends, so sun takes away the lives of all beings with every sunrise and sunset, except for one who spent even a single moment, yet kshanaha, hearing something connected with Krishna. So if we are hearing something with connected to Krishna, the sun is not affecting us. We are not affected by the what do you say, the movements of the sun. How is it possible? Now we'll see one more. What Lord Ram says, because now Ramayana is Ram Nam is coming. So these are all proving from the Skanda Puran statement. So Rad says Sakrit eva prapanno yes. Tvai asmi cha. Abhayam sarvada tasmai dadami etad vatam mama. If a person comes to me even once and sincerely says, I am yours, I will always protect that person from all dangers. This is my solemn promise. This verse is virtually repeated in Skanda Puran, where Mama is replaced by Hari, confirming it is the Lord Hari himself who makes this promise. Now, these are the statements, and this is the first statement, Sakrit. Even once you are getting liberated. And there are some other statements like this. We will try to discuss them. Uh, because our ego is the. Now, first result of bhakti, that one. Now, second result we'll see. Bhakti is compared to fire. I will add for you in the notes. Bhakti is compared to fire. Fire burns, but so does a rod held in fire, and so does anything that touches that rod. So now, what is the effect of these things? It is said that The internal energy of Lord, once genuinely contacted, can be transmitted through others and the energy does not diminish. If someone contacts a devotee, his heart changes. Even contact with somebody who contacted devotee can bring liberation. A person who brings insults to deity uh, installs a deity, liberates all ancestors and descendants until the end of Brahma's day, Yamaraj. Do not touch 90,000 generations of descendants of a pure devotee. Now all these things looks really, who is having question for this? Our ego has question. This is all from Shastra only. Why Vyasdev will write? Why Lord is giving promise assurance? You see such heavy statements. A person who properly installs a deity. So we all have opportunity. At least make one temple for Lord Krishna. And we install a deity and that's all. Liberates all ancestors and descendants until the end of Brahma's day. And now another thing. Okay, the shadow of bhakti, not full bhakti. Actually, not even indirect contact, but even a pale resemblance of bhakti is sometime enough. Actually, there is so much notes, but it's becoming long, so that's why I'm trying to reduce. So there are stories. So what happens? Two drunkard men entered a temple. So this is story from the Puranas. Wandering to play cuckoo. They put rugs on themselves and ran around, flapping their arms like wings. Krishna thought they are doing arti by waving flags in his honor and accepted it as service. And another thing is, a man was quarreling with his illegal lover. And means it looks very and went to grieve in forest. He unknowingly spent the entire day and night in an abandoned Narsimha temple. And it happened to be Narsimha Chaturdasi. Because he fasted and stayed awake, even unintentionally, Krishna accepted it as observance of Vrata. So, and he got benefited. And see one more story. This is what happened is this is true story actually. This we can all believe because we can relate to it. What happened? There was one Russian artist. He was very heavy drunkard and all. So one time he was getting into a bus and suddenly one devotee came to him and he gave Ishopanishad book. He was distributing on street. And this person, because he's a painter, he's artist, he can draw nicely. He looked at the picture, he liked the painting. He didn't want to read anything. He's just quite gross materialistic. So what he said, he took the book. He looked at the cover of Lord Vishnu image and he felt something. Then he closed he opened it, he didn't understand anything, closed it and he forget about it. And after a long time, what happened? There was a very traumatic situation for him and everything went wrong in his life and he's already a drunkard, so he drank and he completely became unconscious, semi unconscious like that. And he understood that uh, things are going wrong and he felt maybe he's going to die because of that situation. And there was terrible sounds that he was hearing and so much oh, he's a sinner, he's a punished, this that, so many sounds he is hearing. And he saw Yamadutas also, and Yamadutas came for him. He understood, oh, these are the, what do you say, emissaries of death. And he heard them listing all the sins he did. He did this also, he did this also, he did this also. And then at that moment of terror and horror, what is happening? The image of Vishnu from the cover page appeared in front of him. And it was alive and smiling. And as soon as picture came in front of his eyes, smiling and lively, immediately all the voices vanished. And he woke up immediately and he ran to the shelf to find out where is this book. And after that book, he immediately ran to find a devotee. He says that he just saw the picture of Vishnu and it was alive. So he told to devotee, "Arey, I saw this person. He's alive. He looked at me and he smiled, and everything disappeared." So this is actually what happened. So Sakrat, even once, slight in not even direct bhakti, but it immediately changed. So this is a so what happened is he tried to practice bhakti, but he could not do much because his conditionings were very heavy. So, and he died eventually. But contact had given him spiritual benefit. So that is the point here. And then another fourth result is Jiva Goswami. He says that, Arey, not only that. So this is like more too much. Like we feel, oh, this is. He says that even an offensive action that accidental resemble bhakti has power. So there are this all from Bhakti Sandarbha only. I am telling. Some media already attended Bhakti Sandarbha. So these are some stories from the demon Raksha attacked a Brahmana to it. The Brahmana protected himself by chanting a Vishnu mantra. When the holy name reached the demon's ear, he immediately stopped. And then he felt noble thoughts are arising. And he renounced his desire to harm the Brahmana and went to practice pure devotional service. So just one time he heard, heart changed. And this is a very famous story. You might have heard this story that a mouse living in a temple drank oil from the lamp burning for the Lord. Once, with a burning wick stick between his teeth, he ran between the temple in pain and fear. Krishna thought he was performing arti, waving a wick before him. In her next life, she was born as a queen with a natural devotional tendency and ultimately returned to Vaikuntha. So, these are some interesting stories in that direction. These are all connected to Vaishnava Aparadh only. Yeah? We'll not forget that. Now, these are the extraordinary examples of bhakti power. So, the important point is about what a person does after they have somehow contacted bhakti. What we must or must not do, so that the results of bhakti becomes established in heart. So this is the most important point. So what a person does and what he should not do. So that's why we are discussing all these things, because this is going to help us what we must do and what we must not do to establish bhakti in our life. So here Vaishnava Aparadha is very much connected. That's why all these discussions are happening. Now the power of bhakti is real and immense. But whatever a momentary contact transforms into lasting liberation depends on how one behaves afterwards. So the connection is that the Vaishnava aparadha, the insults, can block or destroy the progress of bhakti. That is the point. So bhakti has so much power, but what is stopping us is Vaishnava aparadha. So now we will try to understand that Anukulyena Krishnanshila. So Anukulyena means acting favorably towards Krishna. Now aparadha is the main obstacle of bhakti. It is pratikul to bhakti. So bhakti is a inner energy of Lord, and we are trying to obstruct that. Now this is the beginning of our topic. Tomorrow we will continue from this. Any questions, comments? We'll, yes, Mataji, Premalatika.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavad Pranam.
Hare
Prabhuji, thank you very much for that elaborate discussion and small points which enlightened us a lot. So, Prabhuji, my question is, sometimes Vaishnava Aparadh are done by senior devotees also by judging the juniors. Uh, I mean, they don't know what kind of sadhana they are doing, how they are nicely situated in bhakti, but just is a matter of fact that they have adopted bhakti or Krishna consciousness uh, 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 so many years after they have acquired, they judge us, and subtle Vaishnava aparadh happens. Uh, Correcting a Vaishnava is a different thing, and offending a Vaishnava is a different thing. So, if rather than correcting, one is offending you and he is a senior person, how much humility we should maintain if it is happening again and again?
Actually, Balashit Prabhu told one nice point that unless you are ready to give time to that person, understand him and help him, we cannot judge the person. If you don't know, you don't know. So you should not make any judgments or comment on him because you don't know his situation. How can you say whether he is right or wrong? You have not given time to understand and to you don't have time to help him. So we should not unnecessarily interfere in others' matter. And if somebody is always judging and all, we should go and clarify. You say, Prabhuji, I think you don't know my situations. So I feel you are judging me. Better, no, you can, I feel uncomfortable. So you can communicate. So it is not, it is humility only. Humility does not mean that we are getting exploited. We should not get exploited. Anybody is behaving wrongly, we should go and communicate. You say, I am getting affected by your behavior. I am not telling your behavior is wrong. I am only telling I am weak. So don't behave like this. I'll get affected. So there is a way of communicating. That is very important. We all should learn that when people are saying some things, and that is affecting us, we should tell I am getting affected. Say like you asked a question and I didn't like the question. So what should I say? Instead of telling your question is wrong, I should say, Mataj, you asked this question, but somehow I am not able to no, accept this question because of my weakness. So you are right only. With your question, you are right. But I
Mhm.
have weakness. So the way we present is that is the way. So you can communicate. No need of getting exploited if somebody is behaving wrongly. That's what I understand.
Uh,
Yes, Mataj.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Another continuation of this question is, we as a Mataji, I cannot go and clarify with Brahmachari or Prabhuji. I mean, I feel uncomfortable. to go into them and approach them and clarify with them that this has happened, that has happened. So I have to tolerate. I mean, I see this thing in another way, that this is an opportunity to build an tolerance inside me. But at the same time, I have to maintain my self respect without speaking to them or clarifying the things. So that situation becomes very difficult to handle for ourselves. I mean, I'm talking about myself. So how to remain calm at that situation, Prabhuji? I don't want to get.
You have to tell somebody who communicates with the
Oh,
devotee. If you are not able to do, somebody else will do it. Why you have to do? You need not
oh,
directly do. You say that this mother is getting affected, she is getting affected by the way you are talking and you are. She is thinking that she is being judged. She is thinking. So you have to tell. They have to tell in such a way that it is your problem, not that person's problem, and somebody else should clarify. That is not a problem, but clarification should be done. Don't get affected, and you
okay,
have to keep distance. That is anyway their tolerance, but our level of tolerance also has some limits. If you tolerate so much, it becomes suppression. That will
yes,
affect you mentally, and it will affect you in a health wise also. So every time we should make sure that we don't damage our mind by suppressions. Tolerant,
oh,
everybody has some limit. You tolerate and it won't affect your mind. That much tolerance is okay. It goes beyond certain level, it will be a psychological trauma. That is not correct.
okay. Another quick question. Can I ask, Prabhuji?
Yeah.
Prabhuji, what if we have committed Vaishnava aparadh to a senior devotee, a very exalted devotee? After some spending some years, we realize that yes, this is aparadh. But at the same time, that senior devotee's behavior is not very conducive for your bhakti. And whatever we have done is to maintain our self-respect. Then will Krishna take this as a Vaishnava aparadh? Because uh, it becomes very difficult to handle such a situation. At the same time, we have to keep distance with that devotee also, with that senior person also who is very exalted. And at the same times, because of his material conditioning and our own material conditioning, the situation becomes very difficult. And we have to keep distance. Even sometimes we have to stop talking with that person also. Then will Krishna punish me because I have committed Vaishnava Aparadh, or will Krishna make me favorable situation to sustain in bhakti? And how to handle this kind of situation, Prabhuji?
See, we have to keep distance. That is not offense, keeping distance. And don't commit further offenses. Don't try to judge that person because he may be doing some service to Prabhupada and Krishna, so they are happy with him. So we are nobody to judge him. Another thing is that uh, we have to be very careful. No, and no need of, like, say, you can once apologize directly or indirectly and try to apologize, and that's all. Keep distance, and no need of further doing because you have so many other devotees to do with your services. You continue, whom you are comfortable, because it's not compulsory that you have to do service with that persons only. So keeping distance is not offense. Ask forgiveness whenever possible, and that's all. Not a problem.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Haribo.
So one question in chat box: in case of family members, this happens very casually. How to avoid this? Yeah, we have to be very careful because in the house also there are devotees. We should be careful not to uh, uh, they offend each other, wife and husband, and they fall down. That is actually what happens. We have to be very respectful. Don't go with expectations. Do your duties. Then it is possible. If you're expecting wife should do like this, husband should do like this, then there is a fighting. And first is expectation should reduce. Second thing is instead of telling what they have to do, we have to do our things properly. We have to focus on our duty. Then the rights. As a husband, these are my rights. As wife, these are my rights. That's okay. But what are your duties? Just do it. So I am not very expert in this dynamics of house. Maybe some senior counselor grasters can help us how to avoid this uh, situation at home. Any other questions, comments? Okay, we'll end here. We'll do revision tomorrow. I thought I complete this chapter, but somehow this topic is very big. It may take some more time, but it is. I don't. Yes. Yes, Sri Gopinath Pranam.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandas Pranam. Thank you for the
Dhanwad.
nice presentation, Prabhu. I had a question. This you mentioned that trust and ego are interconnected or interrelated and all. I wanted to understand. See, because generally trust is based on our experience. Supposing I have a bad experience with one shopkeeper or some person, some incident, then I would not like to uh, mingle with that person. It is not, it is how it is connected to ego, Prabhu, because I had a bad experience, so I don't want to get into that situation, so I will not go to that shop or that person. So how do I
So
understand that?
here, what I was talking about is uh, we get affected where you get affected. Say somebody cheated you. Which
Yes, sir.
part of the
Yes.
body is affecting?
Okay, which part means heart only, no? Mind.
Ego gets affected.
Oh,
That is why it is connected. So anytime we get affected, the effect is ego only. Like somebody
oh,
insulted. Who? It said,
okay,
how can I get cheated? That means ego is having a problem. Arey, I am such an intelligent fellow and somebody cheated me. Immediately ego gets
okay,
hurt.
okay.
You're understanding.
Mhm.
So we get affected
So
because
does it mean that if somebody doesn't have that ego, although he had one experience, but still he will go to that same situation again?
yeah, not that he do means of course somebody may go out of foolishness, somebody may go like Vaishnavas, they are forgiving. Like even Yudhishthir Maharaj never thought Duryodhana is his enemy only because he didn't had any
Okay,
ego problem. Arre, this fellow
okay.
did so much to me, insulted this, but still Yudhishthir Maharaj thought, okay, Duryodhana is also a good person only. That means
Okay,
he
okay,
didn't had ego. But somebody
okay,
maybe he get cheated again and again. That's a different thing.
okay. Sure, bro. Thank you so much.
Alright.
Hare Krishna.
So this is a big, means elaborate topic. If you are okay, we will do it. We'll continue it tomorrow. Prabhupada purports will slowly complete. This will be because when next time Vaishnava Prad come, that time we can discuss some more. But whatever possible, I'll try to discuss. I am trying to connect how means we are starting the story little long so that we know the dynamics behind aparadh. We'll remember it for lifetime if we discuss like this. That's the reason. It's not just some. Why I'm discussing is because we don't want to look like fanatics of other people. They say no, if you don't follow, you'll go to hell. And same thing with Vaishnava. No, it's a logical sequence, and that's why we are discussing. Okay. Thank you all very much. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय शिल प्रभुपाद की जय हरे कृष्ण